Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for February 17th. I was trying to edit one for today, and the day got away from me, and I thought, you know what, I'll just go do a live one. Been a while since I did that. I enjoy doing lives, but I haven't figured out how to put pictures on them when I'm live. So anyway, let's say hi there and welcome to this day in history for February 17th. February 17th is the 48th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 317 days remaining to the end of the year, 318 in leap years. Today's word is austral. Austral. Austral is an adjective that means relating to the southern hemisphere or anything in the south, really. For example, an austral wind blows from the south. When birds fly south, they're performing their austral migration. Austral is where we get the name for Australia. Not to be cute, not to not to be confused with Austria, which we'll look at tomorrow. That comes from a different set of words and a different meaning. But austral comes to us from Middle English, Latin before that. First documented use of the adjective austral is the 1300s. Now, there's also a noun use for the word austral. As a noun, austral was the name of a basic monetary unit of Argentina that replaced the peso from 1985 to 1991, austral. And with that, Myles Standish was appointed as the first military commander of the English Plymouth colony on February 17th, 1621. I guess he did a good job because the Plymouth colony militia continued to elect him to that position for the rest of his life. One of his tactics was to strike in preemptive action. I think his motive was probably to stop trouble before it started, and it seems to have been fairly effective, but this was occasionally perceived to be unnecessarily brutal. As I mentioned before, the Plymouth Colony Militia continued to elect him as commander for the rest of his life, but as he grew older, he switched from an active role to more of an advisory one. And if the name Myles Standish seems familiar to you, you may have heard of a poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow called The Courtship of Myles Standish. This poem was written in 1858, over 200 years after today's historical item, and it was a highly fictionalized piece depicting Standish as a timid romantic. This poem was quite popular in the 1800s and rather cemented the role of the Pilgrim story in American culture. February 17th was followed by March 1st in Sweden in 1753 as they moved from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. This is the birthday of Australian poet and publisher Louisa Lawson, born February 17th, 1848. She saved money that she had made running boarding houses and purchased shares in a newspaper called The Republican, which she and her son edited. She continued to write stories and poems and work for publishers. She was active in the women's suffrage movement in Australia. Her son, Henry Lawson, also became a poet and author. Louisa Lawson lived to the age of 72. The first ship passed through the Suez Canal on February 17, 1867. An art show called the Armory Show, opened in New York City on February 17, 1913. Displayed the works of artists who would become some of the most influential painters of the 20th century. Let's say that again. It displayed works of artists who would become some of the most influential painters of the 20th century, such as Marcel Duchamp, Henri Matisse, and Paul Cézanne, to name just a few. Not everyone loved it. And of course, some controversy ensued. But if you are an art student or a student of art history, you will likely have heard of the Armory Show. Some pretty interesting works that were shown there. All righty. Well, this is a short one, but we're 5 minutes in already. And that is all I have for you right now. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share a link in your email, messaging, or social media. I post these videos on YouTube, BitChute, Parler, Getter, and a link each day to my blog. No, really. And also usually remember to share a link on my personal Facebook page. Most of those links are in the show notes. All righty. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Now we look for the thank you very much button. Oh, hi, Braxton. And thank you very much.